It's been quite the last, I'd say, month for Moorhead Spud Athletics. Started with the girls hockey team making it to the state tournament. Billy Ward wins an individual state wrestling championship for the Spuds. Obviously, we saw what happened Saturday night in St. Paul as the Spud boys hockey team brought home a first state championship. And how about to cap it off, the Spud boys basketball team is heading to the state tournament after a 1-point win last night over St. Michael Albertville in Sartell. Head coach Matt Ellingson joins us here bright and early on this Friday morning. We were joking off air about what the bus ride back to Moorhead was like last night. Just as a former player, what is it like now as a coach? How helpless is it when you're seeing how the game played out down the stretch last night?
First, Dom, thanks for having me on. Last night was a fun night, and there is a feeling of as a coach, like wanting to go out there and to help your kids to be successful. But now the job is to find ways to help them from the sidelines. And I'm just so proud of our kids for being resilient and having mental toughness in that second half, and finding ways to make plays down the stretch.
There was back and forth there for a while. You guys were stuck on 59 and felt like for the longest time in your mind, like, we just get us one free throw. We feel like we're good.
Yeah, it's we as coaches talked about how, like, in a section final, when you have the lead, it feels like the clock is going so slow, and vice versa. When you're behind, it feels like the clock's doing double time. And so, every possession feels super important. Every basket feels super important. Every defensive stop, and so, yeah, it was certainly would have helped if we, could have knocked down one or two more free throws. But hey, so much credit to our kids for making the plays needed on both ends of the floor.
I know there's a tweet that went out last night, Matt. You guys were picked last in the section in the preseason poll. How much did that serve as underlying motivation this entire year?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the storyline of our season. Basketball publication picked us to finish, last of our section, and we met in mid-November after we had tryouts, and we talked about it, and we used it kind of as a rallying cry and kind of a moment for our group to come together, saying like, hey, okay, if we want to do something, we got to do this together, and these are the steps that we have to take. And once again, our kids were bought in. Just for a high school group of kids to show that maturity and willingness to work every day towards a common goal was super impressive.
I always joke with Feeney about this. There's no neutral site games for Moorhead. It was a road game last night down in Sartell. What was that? What was the atmosphere you were walking into last night facing St. Michael?
Yeah, it was, but at the same point, like, credit to all the Moorhead fans that made it down there, because we're on spring break and a lot of people have other plans going on. And we really did have a good Moorhead crowd. So thankful to all those people that made the trip. But to your point, like, yeah, it's when you're in Section 8 and you are geographically where we are, sometimes the number of fans tends to lead towards the other team. But our group was so resilient, and we just enjoy playing in front of big crowds and loud gyms, because when you're playing in loud gyms, it means you're in big games, and that's where we want to be.
You guys played almost, it seemed like there was no pressure. It's at least how I was watching the game. Did that seem like it played out to you? You guys were out there just, hey, it's a game in December. We're just out here playing basketball.
Yeah, it helps when you've got some young guys on the floor, and then, maybe they're experiencing it for the first time, and then not overthinking and just going out in there and playing. But also at the same time, I want to give a shout out to, our athletic department and our basketball team has worked with a mental performance sports coach, and her name is Dr. Kelly Gast, and she does some tremendous things. And I truly think that the work that she's done with our group has helped us stay composed and poised, and able to just kind of play calm when there's madness all around us.
There was a stretch where you guys were taking some threes. You made a couple, you missed a couple. As a coach, what's going through your mind? Like, oh, is that not matter? Maybe we get a better shot than that. What goes through your mind on that?
Yeah, no, great question. We allow our kids a lot of freedom offensively, and we don't want to put handcuffs on them, and we really feel like as the season goes on, we find ways and what makes our group successful. And we have a lot of confidence in our kids to go make plays, and we just really have a strong belief in how we do things, and we trust our kids to make the right play at the right time. And they're high school kids; they're not perfect. Us as coaches, we're not perfect. There's things I could have done better last night too, but overall, we were really proud of the effort we put forth last night.
You have a mix of guys that have played football as well, to have some muscle memory from the success they had and the athletic ability, obviously. How has that translated over, Matt, from what you saw on the gridiron, what they're doing on the basketball court this winter?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. We in Moorhead believe in multi-sport athletes. We as a basketball program are huge proponents of our other programs. We happen to have a lot of football kids. That's a natural kind of crossover. And so we're huge fans of their program. We try to attend as many games as we can and support those guys, and vice versa. I know Coach Feeney is a big supporter of their kids playing multiple sports. Obviously, his son plays for us as well. And so I think when in one program has success and other programs have success, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so we really believe in that in our athletic program.
I had Rain on the show, gosh, around Christmas time when he announced he was going to announced he was going to play football for the Dragons. He could play hoops as well. He's got some hops. He's one of your seniors, though, of having a guy that went through the battles with you when you guys really were struggling to now come out on the other side in a trip to the state tournament.
I can't say enough positive things about Rain as a young man, but then also as an athlete as well. And his basketball game has developed so much this past year. And he's obviously an incredible athlete, and people see the highlight dunks. But his skill set, his ability to finish with both hands around the rim, he's going to go play football in college, but he could have gone to play basketball in college if he truly wanted to. And he's that special of an athlete and a player, and we're very fortunate to have him on our team.
The fact today we're talking about this, you're still going to be practicing. There's so many other teams would love to have that ability. What's that mean to you when I say that?
I mean, it's huge. We talk about it as a team. We were just trying to fight for a few more days together. Like this group really truly enjoys coming to practice every single day. They're competitive. They get after each other, but they're best buddies. They're friends. They enjoy being around each other. And about 2 weeks ago, we talked about how no matter how this ends, it's coming to an end soon. Whether we're out in the first round of the playoffs or we make it all the way to the state tournament, like this is coming to an end soon. And so enjoy every day, embrace every day, and let's just fight for a few more days of practice. And we get a few more days of practice this week and heading into next week. So they're excited about it.
I was just going through the list of teams here, the people that know basketball in the state of Minnesota: Wayzata, Shakopee, Apple Valley, Cretin-Durham Hall, Maple Grove, Anoka. You guys are in there. That you got to be really, that's a sense of pride that our program is part of the Final Eight and of these teams as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dom, you know this, but the quality of basketball in the state of Minnesota and in the Midwest, state of North Dakota, like it's a high level of basketball. And so we're super proud to be a part of it. We know that we're going to face some challenging teams next week, some challenging student athletes that are very good basketball players. But our kids are excited. Our kids are competitive. They're not going to back down. They're not going to be afraid. We're going to go give it our best shot with whoever we end up playing.
First trip since 2022, and the last couple of years I know we're trying. For you personally, how gratifying is this?
Yeah, it's been we're really excited to get back to the state tournament. We were there a couple of years ago, and it's a rewarding experience for when that final buzzer goes off, and know that you get a few more days with your teammates and coaching staff, and we get to jump on a bus again next week, and then obviously the carrot on the hat is being able to play in the Target Center and have an experience that no matter what happens, the experience these student athletes will remember for the rest of their life of playing in an NBA arena.
Now, I know when you guys made it a couple of years ago, I know I asked you about what do you think it's going to be like. Now you can compare it. You were there as a player and you've been there as a coach. Can you compare what those experiences are like that you've had?
Yeah, as a player, you're just focused on the game and then going down there and playing, and as the coach, you got to make sure all the logistics are taken care of, and that's what we're working on today in terms of making sure we got busing and hotels. And I'm very thankful that we have an awesome athletic department, and Mr. Halgo and Melina Wendt, his assistant, are super helpful with all those things. But just making sure we have our ducks in a row today, and so that we can focus on basketball the rest of the weekend and into next week. But yeah, our kids are going to get a great experience, and we're excited for the opportunity no matter who we draw.
Now, you mentioned you're playing at Target Center. For your guys, I have to imagine they watch a couple of Timberwolves games here and then. How you have to take it in, but we got to play a basketball game as well.
Yeah, and I think that also helps that, we were there a couple of years ago, and some of these kids were eighth or ninth graders that came to watch in the stands, and and they've played in big games in football and competing in section and state meets for track. And so I really think this group is going to take it in for the first few minutes when we hit the floor for warmups. But then we're there to compete, and we know that we're going to have our hands full with whoever we draw. But we're there to compete and represent our program and community in the best way we can.
Now, the seating comes out, you mentioned tomorrow. How does that all break down for people that don't know? Can you give us the insight of that and how it all shakes out in the end?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 8 teams that make the state tournaments. There's still one more game tonight, and so late tonight we'll be sent a form to fill out, and you rank the other 7 teams.
Okay.
So I won't rank Moorhead. I will rank the other 7 teams in my professional opinion, who should be ranked at which spot. All of those votes are then tabulated tomorrow morning, and then we're sent the results, and we're sent our matchups, and off we go. And so it's truly the head coach's votes, and so we'll see where we fall.
Next Thursday are the opening round games at Target Center. Before I let you go, do your players know that you played? You were awfully darn good. I mean, how often you get out there? And I know you're coaching, but you get out there and play a little bit, or no?
Well, the game has changed so much in the last decade, and has gotten so much more athletic that the group that we have right now, I would have a hard time hanging with. They can motor up and down the floor and jump pretty high, and so they're a special group, and I just focus on coaching right now because I wouldn't want to try to guard any of them. But yeah, they're a great group of kids, and we're excited to compete next week. And just one quick thing: first round's actually next Tuesday.
Tuesday, sorry, okay.
Next Tuesday, yep. So we'll be headed down there.
So is that a good thing, bad thing, no thing of a shorter turnaround?
I think it's a great thing. I think we're playing good basketball right now. Let's keep the momentum going, and it just gives us the opportunity to get back on the floor faster.
It's great to see you, bud. Congratulations on the big win last night. Thanks so much for the time, and good luck next week, okay?
Thanks, Dom. Appreciate you.
Matt Ellingson, head coach of the Moorhead boys basketball team. The Spuds off to state. Second trip in the last 4 years. They won last night by 1 over St. Michael, Albertville. And if you've not seen them play, they got some high risers. They have no problem taking some threes. They're a fun team to watch. And again, here are the teams that already made it. Okay, Wayzata, pretty good. Shakopee, Apple Valley, Maple Grove, Anoka. There's one other team to mention, Cretin-Durham Hall. Cretin-Durham Hall is where Tommy Ottoman went to go transfer to play before he's off to Notre Dame next year. There very well could be a Cretin-Moorhead matchup in the opening round of the state basketball tournament. I think, and Matt made no bones about it, he probably expects the Spuds to be the 7 or the 8 seed. Cretin could very well be the 1 of the 2. That could be a matchup in the opening round of the state tournament, which tips off next week down in Minneapolis. Our thanks to him. We'll take our final break of the first hour. Big second hour coming up as we roll on a basketball-heavy Friday edition of Hot Mike. Returns after this.